to beat someone that has been fighting their whole life would be crazy. I was like, yeah, I want to step up. Get the call from Matt. I was like, yeah, we've got Paige Van Zandt. I was like, all right, let me think about that. Yeah, I think it's just fun. Why not? I'd do it bare knuckle if I would.
Hello and welcome back to Misfits News. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, as always, joined by my co-host, BL. As you can clearly hear, my voice is gone, so BL, you're going to do the heavy lifting this episode.
Yeah, Ben, how are you, by the way? You sound like you've been through hell. You've had an exciting
Yeah.
weekend. Talk to us.
When you call a show at Madison Square Garden, you got to go hard. You got to give the people what they want, and unfortunately, that's at the expense of my vocal cords. So
Go hard or go home, Ben. Go hard or go home. So today we're going to be revealing the Misfits 15 updates. The Cruiserweight tournament has been announced. Deji's been called out by Britain's worst boxer. And to top it all off, we're hearing from the main event herself, Elle Brooke.
there is so much to cover on this Misfits 15 card. May 25th is going to be a dessert, a treat for the fans. BL, who are some of the people that are on it?
We've got Le'Veon Bell versus Tristan Ham, obviously the next tournament in the Cruiserweight division. Now, this one, again, excites me. The levels are getting higher and higher with Misfits Boxing, and this is a matchup that I'm struggling to call, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, we're tossing Tristan Ham into the absolute deep end. No disrespect to Rodney Peterson, not Logan Paul, but that was a very easy fight for Tristan Ham. Le'Veon Bell, former NFL star, who's really established in the crossover boxing world, is a massive leap. I mean, this is going from the amateurs to the pros, effectively, and we'll see what the BJ Flores-trained Ham brings to the table, but I anticipate Le'Veon Bell having a difficult test, but passing it in the opening round of the Cruiserweight tournament.
Well, Ben, let's talk about that main event. Paige Van Zandt versus Elle Brooke. What a superstar performance this could be from Elle Brooke if she can take out Paige Van Zandt.
PVZ is not a pushover. She is a true fighter, competed many times in the UFC, fought twice in bare knuckle, and she's got the AEW experience, so she brings the showmanship. Paige knows how to sell fights, which is why Misfits gave her a long-term contract right off the rip. They see the potential, but Elle Brooke can absolutely play spoiler here and defend the title and beat Paige Van Zandt.
Well, it's great to see the first ever female main event on Misfits Boxing, and I think what a great matchup this is. Again, as I say, with a lot of these fights, I cannot call them right now, but I'm going to lean towards Elle Brooke as of right now. From her last performance to seeing her growth from start to end, I think Elle Brooke possibly could pinch this win.
Well, we talk about Elle Brooke, BL, no better person to discuss Misfits 15 with than one half of the main event herself. Here is the champion, Elle Brooke. Well, there is nobody that is better suited to break down this insane Misfits 15 card than the main event herself, Elle Brooke. Elle, how are you?
I am very good. You've got me working on a Sunday, so I best love you guys. This is an occasion to be up and ready on a Sunday for.
It's a true pleasure and an honor to have you. How does it feel to finally be in a main event? First one, huge opportunity.
Yeah, I think January was a warm-up for me because I was obviously the co-main and then the main pulled out, and I think there was kind of this thought like, oh, why don't you become main event? But I didn't in the end because I didn't want to be as well. So this one's come around and I'm like, you know what? I'm excited for it. It's a step up. It's more, and I've kind of built up. Like I've been on second in the night and now I'm going to be last in the night. And it's not the first. Oh no, it's the first main event I've ever done. So yeah, I think it's exciting.
The main event. Elle, what is that like being the first ever female main event in Misfits Boxing?
I am forever grateful, but I think that I deserve it. I think that I work hard like anyone else. There's a few other girls that I think that could have the spot as well. But you know, I've been in this game for like 2 years nearly now, and I've trained every single day almost, and I have dedicated my life to it, and I work so hard not only in the gym but outside of the gym. I've got like a big brand, not just for boxing but everything else that comes with it, so I work really hard. So yeah, no, I think I deserve it. I've got to start believing in myself. I'm like, yeah, fuck what, you know what, Elle, you deserve to be the main event.
I want to touch on your previous opponent before we get into Paige Van Zandt. AJ Bunker, last time we saw you, huge knockout, best female finish, I'd say, in crossover history. How do you reflect on that night?
Oh my God, I can't believe I even did that. I think I'm so proud of myself and how it went as well, because like the point deduction, like a knockdown that wasn't counted, like everything was not in my favor. And then I still won incredibly. But my corner was saying to me, like, this ref is not on your side. You're going to have to finish her. And I kept my cool. And obviously it was an amazing finish. So I don't want to hold on to that finish forever. I know that I need to like keep having a step up and wanting to improve myself as well.
Your next opponent is one not to be looked over, Paige Van Zandt. Why are you taking this risk?
Because I was like, yeah, I want to step up. You know, I wanna fight someone who's a little bit more experienced than AJ Munger. Get the call from Matt. I was like, yeah, we've got Paige Van Zandt. I was like, all right, let me think about that. Like few days went past. I was like, yeah, let's go. I had to sit on it because it was only like a week after my fight. I was like, please, my head is so jumbled. I just want to have time off. So yeah, big opportunity to be the main event in America as well. The world is my oyster, and I know that 2024 is going to be my year.
Now, a lot of fans are going to be very curious about the logistics of this one. Could you break down the rounds, glove size, weight, and the other accoutrement of this main event?
Yeah, so this is for the belt that I currently hold at the moment. So it's 125 pounds. It's 8-ounce gloves. As far as I'm aware, it's a professional fight, and it will be 5 2-minute rounds.
From 10-ounce gloves to 8-ounce gloves, why the significant difference in this one?
I just thought, why not? I think that Alexia and Nikki have fought in 8s as well, and especially in America for a professional fight. I think that if it was going to be a professional fight, it would be 8 ounces. So we're just following that. Yeah, I think it's just fun. Why not? I'd do a bare knuckle if I would.
Now, I want to get into what you make of Paige Van Zandt. Obviously, the UFC career mixed results, BKFC, wasn't able to find a victory, but proved that she's very tough. When you watch her fight, what do you take away?
I think she's obviously a legitimate fighter, and she has been training for an incredibly long time. Yeah, she's not an influencer. Like, she is 100% a fighter, and that's what she's known for.
Does that give any pause potentially? Because this is, like we've talked about, a big step up. You know, this is a very big challenge.
It is, but I'm used to sparring professionals. So in my head, I think perhaps this would make me look better because I'm used to fighting people that are less awkward than novices and amateurs. They can be wild and crazy. Whereas if you're against a fighter that shapes up like a fighter, then hopefully, not that it should be easier for me, but I should be more used to it.
What would it mean to you to get past a fighter like Paige Van Zandt, a pro fighter who is born and bred in the combat sports world? How significant is that to Elle, Brooke?
I think it would be crazy because this time I wasn't even throwing hands this time 2 years ago. And then to beat someone that has been fighting their whole life would be crazy. You know, like a pat on the back for myself or something I want to achieve, not for everyone else, but the journey that I've been through. Like, it's not the easiest thing to learn. Like, when you're comfortable as well, like, I don't need to do this. I don't need the money. I don't need the success that combat sport gives you. So
you'd be interested in bare knuckle, maybe. How about a rematch in BKFC with Paige, given, you know, whichever way this fight goes?
Do you know, I actually would. Like, it doesn't really, like, I love, like, you know, you see the girls and they've got like 10 teeth missing and they've got like an eye out here and they're like, oh, that was so fun. I was just in it for the ride. And yeah, I don't know how different it would be to traditional boxing. I know their stance is a little bit different, but I'd be willing for it. You know, you see like Savannah Marshall doing PFL now, like, and even, you know, Clarissa Shields, like, everyone's intertwining into different things. So whether I'll be a bare knuckle fighter one day, who knows?
I want to shift gears a little bit. We've got an upcoming matchup between Julie Polka and Barbie. Now, you've got experience with that kind of pairing. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, I think that Julie wins. I think that she's strong. She's so strong and she's so tough and she's got a lot of heart. And I think that perhaps you could have said, oh, you know, she's the shorter fighter. She doesn't get in range. But then look at her against Vampira. Vampira was a lot bigger than her. And Vampira, from her first fight against Fangs, was extremely aggressive. And even when she got hit by Julie, she was like, no, thank you. I don't want to come forward. This girl's strong. So I think that Julie 100% wins that fight.
Would there be interest in maybe going up and, let's say, Julie is victorious? Would you want to maybe run it back with her?
Maybe one day, not at obviously 64 kilos. I think if anything, I'd love to go down in weight, but probably not to 51. I think the weight categories are so big. Like, mine's obviously 56 to 64 is like huge. But no, I think that rematch is always there, but obviously you want redemption, and I'd love to redeem the loss.
If you do win this fight, who is next for Elle Brooke? How do you go from there?
I don't even know who you'd fight, because you'd want them to make sense. Maybe like a Jake Paul route where he does fight fighters rather than other influencers. I think that you'd probably have to go that route because I can just then go like, yeah, I won Paige Keiki. You can't. Not that Paige Keiki, I don't disrespect Paige Keiki, but you know, you're on your own route and it's hard to then step back.
I am curious though, what is your thought on Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? A quick breakdown on that.
It's one of those things. I think that people can talk crap on it, but people are going to want to watch it. So it's a business at the end of the day, and it's going to get views, and he knows what he's going to do. I don't know what will happen. I presume that Jake Paul would win just because of the age. I don't think he's any more skilled, but against a 60-year-old man, like that guy's going to be frail, and he's not got that instinct that he once ever had anyway. So, and his style always suited being like young and fit. And now he's like an OAP, so.
Elle, before we get you out of here, any last messages or exclusive insights that you'd like to share with the fans?
To all my American fans, I'm gonna be fighting in America. I'm so excited about it. I love America. I've been so many times, and I love the kind of cowboy aesthetic. So I am gassed. That's one of the main reasons that I'm gassed for this fight as well.
Well, it was a pleasure having the main event, Elle Brooke herself on. However, there's a couple things I want to highlight to you, Ben. Ain't Alex gloves, and she'd fight her in bare knuckle fighting. Those two things show me Elle Brooke's going into this fight with a pair of cojones.
Elle Brooke is a gangster, no question about it. And those 8-ounce gloves is just going to add to her stopping power. We looked at her demolishing AJ Bunker, and I believe reducing the size of the glove is only going to make that more tremendous. One thing I liked, BL, is just her maturity. You know, she really felt like a pro in how she's approaching these fights, how she's viewing, you know, that last performance. I'm not going to sit on that. I'm going to move forward and continue to build the highlight reel. That type of thinking is what you need to beat a fighter like Paige Van Zandt.
Now, something else I want to highlight is that bare knuckle fight. That excites me, Ben. I mean, that's another step from 8-ounce gloves. Those are knuckles on face. I don't know how either fighter would look after that fight.
Absolutely. And again, that's something that who knows could be down the line in the deep future. But BL, I want to address something that is right in front of us. And it's this new judging system that Mams Taylor has finalized and implemented. Why don't you walk me through it?
So the new judging system is going to include supervisors. It's going to have instant replays. It's going to have corners notified how the rounds are going. So they know now if they're winning the rounds or if they're losing them. So it's a real interesting take. Obviously, boxing hasn't seen this before in the many years that it has been. And you've got Mams Taylor, the architect himself, revolutionizing the sport here.
Everybody is aware, fans, fighters, corners alike, of what the scoring is going to be. So if you're coming into those last several rounds and you recognize, oh man, I'm down, I have to turn it up. That builds better storylines. I think it incentivizes better performances, and you don't get these insane controversial decisions after the fact where you're thinking, man, what's going on with the scoring? You're aware of it, you're following it throughout. So I think open scoring is fantastic, and I believe that instant replay is going to be really valuable.
Something that has been announced, the Cruiserweight tournament. Man, we're really being treated here. So many announcements, so many things going on. But I tell you something, I'm loving these tournaments. I want you to run me through who's on this current tournament.
We've got FaZe Temper returning for the first time since his TKO over Ginty, but BL, he's taken on Papi Luisito. What do you make of that fight?
Obviously, FaZe Temper is the clear favorite in my eyes right now. However, you can't write off someone like Papi Luisito. He's got the experience. He's fought on the ICB as well. So this could be a tough matchup for FaZe Temper going forwards.
Talking about tough matchups, very established staples of the scene. One of the most improved boxers, I would say, on the roster, DTG, taking on DK Money. BL, what a clash.
DTG going from heavyweight down to cruiserweight. Now, I think that is a fantastic move for him. In my eyes, I thought the heavyweight was a bit too much for him, and I think this is going to suit him much better. However, as we've seen in the past, weight cuts can be dangerous, and we've seen that punish fighters beforehand. So I really hope he's done the right preparation so he comes into this fight as his optimal weight.
Obviously, on Misfits 15, we're getting this one. Le'Veon Bell, the NFL star, taking on the Canadian adventurer, Tristan Ham. Both guys have KO power. BL, who do you think is going to come out on top?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, this is a really interesting matchup for me. Le'Veon Bell has the experience. He does some things that are really unorthodox, but they work, and I like his style. However, Tristan Ham is someone you cannot write off. We saw him last time perform on the biggest of stages. He went in there, he did exactly what he had to do. So we can't write him off either. This is going to be the biggest test of Tristan Ham to date. Which way is it going to go? I guess we'll find out.
And the last one, Jake Cornish versus Mike Edwards. BL, your thoughts?
Jake Cornish, the Love Island star, making a move to Misfits Boxing. Now, I think that's very interesting, but I haven't seen much boxing from his end. Whereas with with Mike Edwards. I've had a little bit of a gander, and he does box, and he's an absolute unit. So again, this is going to be a tough matchup, and we could possibly see a dark horse in the competition here.
And that is the entire cruiserweight tournament, KSI's belt up for grabs. And who knows, maybe one of these guys could find themselves in a matchup with a nightmare down the line. Temper getting a rematch. Maybe DTG is going to go all the way. You never know, Beal. In other news, Deji has been called out by Britain's worst boxer, Robin Deacon, who has a record of 2-53. Maybe this is the opponent that Deji could come back against, Beal.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting call out. It's giving me reminiscence of Jake Paul's opponents here. So maybe Deji can take the Jake Paul route and take out a professional boxer here. In other news, something that's really interested me, Fernando Torres has joined the one division. He's gone from football to MMA. I'm loving to see some of these football stars start to break through into boxing.
Why not? You get a larger exposure, bigger platform, and hey, you get some more respect. Football is one of the hardest sports in the world, in my opinion. Sorry, Wade Plum. But yeah, getting in mixed martial arts, that's even better. Now, last thing, Chris Avila versus Anthony Pettis has been confirmed for the co-main event, I believe, of Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. I like this one. I think my boss, Anthony Pettis, is about to tear up Chris Avila and hand him his first loss in crossover boxing. What an episode. Misfits News has always been treating the fans with the best that we have to offer. Again, apologies for the voice. Next week, it will be much better. For BL, I've been Ben the Bane Davis. We'll see you every Tuesday and Thursday. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.